If the police come to your house, what are your rights? First of all, you don't have to answer the door if the police come. Just because they knock on your door doesn't mean you have to answer it. They can tell you, we can hear that you're there. Unless they have a warrant, they can't force you to open the door, and they can't force you to speak to them. If the police don't have a warrant, you don't have to let them in, and you never have to speak to a cop or answer questions. They can't compel you to do anything more than show your license and who you are. However, if you're in your house, you have the right to not even do that. If the police come to your door and they don't identify that they have a warrant, you don't have to do anything. If the police come to your door and you do answer and they begin engaging you, you should ask them if they have a warrant to search your house. If they say they don't have a warrant, then you should shut your door and tell them, I don't speak to police without an attorney present. Oftentimes, cops will try and intimidate you and tell you, that you need to cooperate. That is not the case. You have a Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate yourself, and you should exercise that Fifth Amendment right and shut your door and stop engaging with the police. A lot of my clients ask me what to do if a policeman at their doorstep starts to get hostile or they believe that the officer is about to break into their house. The first thing that I would do is notify the officer that you have cameras all over the front of your house and the inside of your house. Even if that's not true, make it look true, and the officer should stop his behavior. Beyond that, I would pull out your cell phone and tell them that you are scared, that they are going to violate your rights, that they are going to illegally enter your home, or that you believe they're going to illegally force you to speak. Generally, at that point, the officer will be put on notice and will back off, and you can close your door. On the rare occasion that an officer does break your door down or push his way into your house, my suggestion is to pull out a phone and ask over and over, where is your warrant? Where is your warrant? You entered my house without my consent. Where is your warrant? The answer to every question should be, I want an attorney present, and followed with, I have not yet seen a warrant. You have entered my house illegally. If an officer pulls you over for a traffic violation, there is great limitation to what they can do. They only had probable cause to pull you over. They do not have probable cause just because you committed a traffic infraction to ask you or order you to leave your car, and they do not have the authority to search your car without a warrant or further probable cause. So, if an officer asks you to exit your car, the first question should be, what is the further probable cause that warrants you to force me out of my car? If an officer asks you to consent, may I search your car, which is oftentimes in a command voice, the answer should always be no. I am amazed how many of my clients consent to a search because they either don't believe that they have the right to say no, or they think somehow it will help them, or that it may hurt them if they deny the officer the right to search their car. An officer may not search your car without a warrant unless he spots something in the open that's illegal. So basically can see through your window and see a gun, drugs, something that gives him further probable cause for an exigent circumstance where he needs to search it without a warrant. Cops will ask if they can search your car and say along with that, it smells like weed in here. In California, marijuana is legal, and the fact that your car smells like marijuana does not give an officer probable cause to do anything other than perhaps ask you more questions about if you've been smoking weed and you're driving under the influence. But that does not give them probable cause to search your car. A lot of people ask me how to explain that they're exercising their Fifth Amendment right. The best way to tell an officer that you are not going to speak to them is to tell them, I will not speak to law enforcement without my attorney present. This is good for multiple reasons. It's your way of stating that you're exercising your Fifth Amendment right, but it also tells the officer that you want an attorney. Once you declare that you want an attorney, that officer cannot keep questioning you. If you just say, I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, the officer can come back 10 minutes later, ask you further questions, can come back 20 minutes later and try and wear you down until you answer questions. However, once you state, I want an attorney, I will only speak to you with an attorney present, that ends everything. The officer should at that point stop asking you any questions. I have clients ask all the time, what do I do when I state that I want an attorney present and they continue asking me questions? I tell them all the same thing. The answer to every question is, I want my attorney. I will not speak to you without my attorney. And after the fourth or fifth time of saying that, it's okay to say, what part of I want an attorney and I won't speak to you do you not understand? If the police keep pestering you after that, it doesn't mean that your case is going to be thrown out. It means that any evidence that is obtained at that point cannot be used against you. An officer cannot search your phone without a warrant unless you consent to it. So absolutely, anytime an officer asks to see your phone, tell them that the answer should be, you may not search my phone. Oftentimes, officers will ask, what's the password to your phone? Absolutely never give the password. That can be seen as consent to search your phone. And after that, the police can go through, look at pictures, look at history, and oftentimes find other crimes that have been committed on your phone. Do not let an officer touch your phone, and if they do, do not ever give them the password and do not give them consent to search your phone. So I've had clients who are very concerned. What if an officer goes and tries to use my face against my will, handcuffs me, and uses that to open my phone? Most of the time, when something like that happens, their car is generally present and they also have body cams. So we have the footage from their police unit and we have the body cam. So you should use that to your advantage. Anytime a cop is doing something that you object to, especially searching something against your will, you should be very verbal in, this is not a legal consent. I do not consent to you using my face to open my phone. You are illegally searching my phone, and repeating it over and over. Generally, it's going to be on video, and at that point, any information that the officer obtains will not be able to be used against you. If you found this video helpful or have any questions, call Earl Carter and Associates, and we can help you with whatever you need.